Hey everyone.
Hey, welcome back on this nice warm, not really summer, but feels like summer day.
Yeah, it is totally not summer. It's really unorthodox that it's this warm, but we're staying cool.
We're
that's the
trying
name of
to.
the game.
The dogs are
And
too.
the dogs are too.
They're in the background playing with water.
As you can see, it's super fun. Yes. So what are we talking about today? We've been chit-chatting about a lot of different topics.
Absolutely, we have. Today we're talking about something that's universal, whether it's a Labradoodle or another dog, something that's very important, potty training.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
I think we all want to make sure we have potty trained dogs.
Yes, absolutely. Very important to, whether you're away from your home or there during the day, there's definite
Or out in public with a dog.
Yeah, there's so many situations. So,
absolutely, yes.
You're sharing three tips to get your dog potty trained.
Yeah, exactly. Well, and it's interesting because for a long time, the way that I was actually trained over a decade ago was basically just a two-tip system. It was what everyone knows is crate training. And the second step on that was making sure, one is that you're utilizing the crate, and two is that you have a good reward system in place to really reinforce that with the dog.
Okay.
But with some time and experience, we have learned that there is a first step you can do before that. And we as the breeders actually do that to make everyone's life a little bit simpler, and that's litter box training.
Okay, so that's tip number one.
Is litter box training. And yes, I really am still talking about dogs, not cats, because that is really the first question I get.
Or gerbils or anything like that.
When we talk about litter box training with people, they're like, wait, what? I don't understand. And it is literally what it sounds like. You are litter box training your puppy.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, I guess, so that's a puppy. What's typical age range where you even start that?
When they are a few weeks old. And the reason why you want to start this right when the puppies are old enough to start exploring out of their whelping box. So what you do, you take, and actually an air conditioning pan is great for this because they're really, they have very small lips on them so the puppies can step over them, but they're also very long and wide, so it covers a larger area. You put that right in the pathway coming out of the whelping box into their little playpen area. Okay. And the puppies get used to the fact they have to walk through this. They kind of instinctually do have a desire to not want to go to the bathroom in their whelping box. So what's happening?
Or in their crate.
And that's what we'll get to with why crate training is so great.
Awesome.
But yeah, so as soon as they're walking into that litter box, that's when they have the kind of desire to go to the bathroom, leaving their whelping box area, and they get used to the idea. The substrate that you have in that pan, it becomes familiar as what they want to feel when they go to the bathroom. Okay. And so as they get older, you can kind of make that litter box a little bit smaller, change pan sizes. You can put it farther away from the whelping box opening, and they'll kind of start to seek that out. And we actually use pine pellets, which you can get from a place like Tractor Supply stores. Yeah, it's sold for other animals like horses, but those are good because pine pellets aren't harmful in any way with puppies. You don't want to just go out there and use any old litter because that's something that could actually potentially cause problems. Rosie's loving that water.
Look at her.
She's got her whole face wet. She's drenched. Oh.
You gotta love it. Yeah, so we'll make sure to kind of post that product in the comment as well. Just for you watching, so you know exactly what we're talking about and maybe where to find it. So
exactly.
If that's locally or if that's online, then we'll post those resources below. So stay tuned for that.
But basically the great thing about how that plays into crate training is the idea that the dogs get introduced to the concept that there's certain places you go to the bathroom and there's certain places you don't.
Right.
And even if it's just them learning to hold themselves, the few steps that it takes to get to their litter box, they're now thinking more consciously about the idea of, hey, I need to get over here. So by the time our puppies then go home to their new mommies and daddies, they have kind of that basic concept of that everyone's trying to train in potty training already in their minds. And it makes it a lot easier to transfer that over to now that place you go to the bathroom is outside.
Exactly.
So we're kind of making that first step easier.
Increase the distance over time, of course.
Yeah, and just making things easier for new parents of these puppies to kind of get that process started. Now the crate training part, a lot of you out there have already heard about crate training. But there's some people that still aren't completely on board with it, because the idea behind crate training is that When the puppy's not being monitored, it's being kept in a crate.
Right. So
Yeah.
there's a misconception there that keeping a puppy in a crate is like keeping it in a cage, and that it's cruel, and that it's, you know, they can't freely roam, and
Right.
all of those emotions that we typically associate with that. But I think you're going to kind of dispel that, which is a good thing.
Yes.
Yes.
And I will say we could dive so deeply into why crates
gonna be
actually are not
another
bad.
video
So
on
that will be another video. I'm not really going to get into how you make the crate comfortable for the puppy, because there's a lot of things you can do to really make that home. But the important main lesson to take out of this is dogs really appreciate having like a cave of their own, is kind of the concept. And you'll find a puppy that's been crate trained will oftentimes choose to go in its crate on its own time, because that's its bedroom, that's its personal space. And I know from experience, you know, our dogs don't always have to be crated. You get older dogs, that's not something they have to have. And when we take crates away from our dogs, they'll actually get upset because they want to have their little bedroom, their space.
They're used to that.
Yeah,
at that
so
point.
it's not a
It's a
cool
comfort
thing to
thing.
do.
It's a comfort thing.
It is.
So
And
that's very nurturing. It's like going to their own little womb. It's their comfort
yeah,
place.
you know, that's a good way to think of it.
Yeah. Well, I mean, and I guess with even older dogs, they have pet beds, or they have, you know, a quadrant that they're seeking out.
Right.
A
A dog
favorite
kind of
spot.
does have to have sort of their spot. That's
Yes.
I think that's pretty essential for them.
Yeah,
So,
absolutely.
so the way crate training actually works, you would have the puppy in the crate again when it's not being monitored. When it's time that you want to take the puppy out, whether it's to go to the bathroom or you actually want to play with the puppy, the first step you always want to do is pick that puppy up, because as soon as it comes out of that crate, it's now in that open space,
Right.
and it's going to go to the bathroom right there on your floor. So pick the
We
puppy
want to
up,
prevent that.
carry it outside, and this is the beginning stages. This isn't like you're carrying some giant dog outside. This is a little tiny puppy, you know. You carry it outside, you place it outside. Now puppies are easily distracted, so if it starts playing, you want to kind of, you know, maybe pull on the leash a little bit, get it focused. And if you're noticing that your puppy just doesn't focus, all it does is play outside. You know, I've heard the stories from people, I stood outside for half an hour with that puppy. I don't want owners to go through that for a lot of reasons. It really sends the wrong message to the puppy, and it's frustrating for owners. When your puppy gets off track from what it's supposed to be doing outside, just gently pick it up, put it back inside the crate, give it a few minutes, maybe even just 5
Exactly.
minutes, take it back outside again. Pretty soon the puppy's really going to have this urge to go to the bathroom, and instead of playing, it's going to go to the bathroom, because this is the only spot it's being given an opportunity, is outside. And that's the point where, this is always the funniest thing, you want to jump up and down and make a fool of yourself till your neighbors think you are crazy, because you really
So is this
want...
tip number 3?
Yeah, that's tip number 3.
Tip number
Sorry,
3.
didn't point
That's
that out, but this
okay.
is the reward
Oh
system.
my goodness. Hey,
Elmo is
Elmo.
soaking wet now.
Look how curly.
It is so
Very
important that
good.
the puppy understands that this is what you wanted that baby to do. You want to pet it on the head, you want to hug it, you want to be like, oh my gosh, you're so good, you know, be super excited and jump up and down with the puppy. and that's the first, like, right when the going to the bathroom happens.
Right.
But the dog should be further rewarded. You should at that point allow them to go ahead and play outside, or bring them inside, and now they can be loose in your house and play inside. They're, especially with Labradoodles, very smart animals. Well, they will start to
You're wet,
recognize.
Betty.
They'll recognize, I go to the bathroom and all this awesome stuff
Stuff
happens to
happens.
me. You know, so they really do start to link those things together.
That's
So
good.
that's basically how that works. Now, there is one key. None of this is gonna work if you don't make sure that your crate size is correct.
I was thinking about that earlier when we mentioned crate, because a puppy, you could have a small one, but as it grows, it has to be kind of in proportion to the dog, to where
Right.
it's comfortable.
Right. Well, and they actually do make crates that come with dividers. And that's
Oh,
really the
neat.
reason why they have the divider crates, is in crate training, the crate should only be as large as what it takes for the puppy to comfortably lie down in it. You don't want the puppy to have enough space in the crate where it can go to the bathroom
Room
in
in
the
the
back
corner.
of the crate, and then it can hang out in the front of the crate, because then that just completely, you know, destroys the whole premise, which is they feel like they don't have space in their crate to go to the bathroom, so they hold it till they have the first opportunity, and then you're giving them that opportunity.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. That's really helpful tip.
Yeah. Now, if you do for some reason have a crate already, you know it's too large, an alternative that is helpful for breeders like us that do the litter box training is you can put that litter box in the back of the crate, and they can go to the bathroom in that litter box. Or if you know you're going to be gone a longer period of time, because puppies can't hold very long.
Yeah, they have really tiny bladders.
Yeah,
so it's important to kind of...
Yeah, so if you know they're going to need kind of that interim option, that's something that you can provide, at least puppies like ours that are, exposed to the litter boxes. And then you can still be taking them outside, and they're still going to make that connection. So
that's good.
So that's pretty much kind of the overview that people want to make sure they know. The steps again, we utilize the litter box training first just to make the next step of the crate training easier. And then the third step, you've got to make sure you reward that puppy so they understand that they are doing the right thing.
Yes, it is important to have a reward system, and even if you are training your dog, those training treats or the soft chewables are really helpful too, because even for a puppy you could almost break those in half even.
You could.
You could.
I just always caution people, make sure that the dogs aren't completely reliant on everything they do being treat based.
That's true.
I don't think it's necessarily super common, but I have had people come to me before and go, well, now my dog won't do anything unless I give it a treat. It's like, well, that dog has learned how to manipulate you. They figured out how the system works. But there's great ways to be able to do other things that really make a dog happy too. And like I said, just being able to give them time then to play outside, to be able to come inside and play with you. These are all great practices because they need that interaction.
Yes.
They need to be able to have that connectivity with their owners.
Oh, that's really, really good, helpful advice for those out there. Okay, so let's recap. So if there's some people that have just jumped on with us, we've been talking about a lot of topics today, but what we're specifically talking about here are 3 tips to potty training your dog, whether it's a Labradoodle or not, or a puppy, or at its going home stage.
Absolutely.
So what was tip number 1?
Tip number 1 is the one that we as the breeders have added on. So you won't see this from everyone, but that's the litter box training.
Right.
Absolutely. Which sounds crazy, but it absolutely helps so much when a puppy gets that idea.
We're not talking about cats or rabbits or gerbils or hamsters. So
that's part of what I think makes our dogs more unique is the fact they've had that exposure and they already understand, here's where we go.
Yes, that's really helpful. So essentially what Christina was sharing with us was that it was like an air-conditioned pan or a very shallow pan where a small puppy could walk over that and be able to go to the bathroom, and that being either positioned right outside of their whelping box, which is typically like their little nest.
Yes.
What we associate with their comfort zone.
Absolutely.
So having that right outside that zone, because that's immediately when they're going to want to go to the bathroom. And we all know this, and you mentioned it before, that if you have a crate that's too large for your dog, they can go in one corner of the crate.
We just got sprayed with water by Rosie.
They can go in one corner of that crate and then still be comfortable in another area, and that's an indication that your crate is too large.
It is.
So you can put a small flat lid of some kind of tray, even in the back of that crate, to provide, what was the material you all used?
We use pine pellets.
Pine pellets.
And it is important you're not just grabbing any old material that says litter on it, because there can be repercussions from using the wrong materials.
Interesting. That is good. So we want something that's pet safe and pet friendly, and to make sure that our little fur babies are taken care of with non-toxic means.
Absolutely.
So, because puppies love to chew on things or nibble or explore and figure things out. So
they're always curious. Right now, Rosie has got the ball and Elmo's curious why she has it and not him. Running in circles together.
I love it. They wear each other out.
Oh, they do.
Right.
They do.
Love it. So what was tip number 2?
Tip number 2 is utilizing the crate. That's important. I will tell you from my own experience, because we were talking about how sometimes that's hard for people to wrap their heads around the fact that that's okay. When I first got my first ever Labradoodle as an adult, and I'd grown up with dogs, but this was the first time I was doing potty training myself. I was 19 years old. I decided no, that didn't sound very nice to have a dog in a crate.
Exactly.
I wasn't going to do that.
I think we kind of free associate. I don't want to be in a cage. Why would I put my precious little puppy in a cage?
Yeah, and that was exactly where my mindset was. So I decided I'm not going to do that. And the first point that we had to leave the home and leave the dog alone, I didn't want them to get into something that would hurt them in the house.
Exactly.
Which
Either
is
hurt them
point.
or tear up your nice leather shoes or rip apart your sofa cushions because, you know, they have free reign and then they're anxious. So we want to prevent those things from happening. And they like actually being in their own little cave, like you said.
Oh, they do. Absolutely. And like I said, we'll go into a lot of those details on another video as to what that means for them, because that can even help some dogs with anxiety too. If
that's really good to know. So if you have a dog that is suffering from a lot of anxiety, make sure to like and follow the page so you can stay up to date on all these really super helpful, informative videos that'll even help with your dog, even if you don't have a Labradoodle. So as a breeder, you do extensive research. You're kind of an expert in this field, so you've had tried and true methods of trial and error to know what works. So that's really helpful for you out there. If you can get caught in a research tunnel, you're saving people a lot of time. So crate training. So crate potty training.
Crate training. Yep. If you Google search it, you can Google search crate training, and more information on that will pop up. Yes.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Okay. Great. And what was tip number 3?
Tip number 3 is the reward. Because that puppy has to understand that what it just did is the action that you were looking for. You know, they can't read our minds, same as we can't read theirs. So it's really important to give them that positive reinforcement. And that's the thing about the crate training methodology, is everything about this is very positive reinforcement. You know, if they don't do what you're asking, all you're doing is just nicely picking the puppy back up and just putting them in the crate. It doesn't have to be a huge negative. It's okay, you're just going to hang out here for a little bit, and then we're going to try again until you understand. And then once you understand, then you're going to get rewarded.
So it sounds like the key there with a lot of our owners is patience.
That's true.
And consistency. Yes.
And a lot of people do
and this
ask
could be
that
done
question.
within a couple of weeks. And you've even said in the past, you've had some puppies that have caught on within 24 hours to the concept of potty training.
Yes, it's because consistency is so key. Even having a schedule, like if you work a regular job, for example, having these certain times that you're taking the puppy outside so they kind of know what to expect.
That's their routine.
So you're feeding them at the same time, you're taking them to the bathroom at the same time. You know, their bodies, their digestion will actually kind of adjust to that.
Oh, that's good to know.
Yeah, so there's a lot of positives to giving that consistency. It really sends a very clear message to that baby about what you're looking for. And let's face it, dogs are man's best friends because they want to please us. Like, they absolutely love their humans. They just need to understand what it is that we're asking of them. And usually if there is a problem and potty training is not going well, it's really just that communication between dog and human just needs to be clarified, you know. And then the dog, they'll want to do the right thing.
Yeah, absolutely. It sounds like that might be another video in the future about how to communicate with your animal, how to communicate with your dog per se, on what it is that we're doing versus what it is that's not being conveyed, because that could be really helpful to some owners out there that might be a little frustrated and not know what to try next. So if you have any of those type of concerns, definitely type those in the comments or message us, and we'll definitely do a future video on it. So that'd be really helpful. So we've gone over the 3 tips to help anyone potty train their dog or their puppy.
Absolutely.
Kind of depends on age.
Yep.
And depends on consistency and your patience level. So if you have those 3 things, then it sounds like this could be a very positive experience for your dog.
That's very true. Absolutely. And for you too.
Yeah, absolutely. And creates that bonding experience that we're all after.
Yes.
Love it. Okay, do we have any other, like maybe what's it?
Do we have any comments from anyone? Any questions right now that anyone wanted us to answer? Or maybe we've done such a good job that they don't?
And what do you think of litter training your puppy? Have
you
ever heard of that?
Leave us a comment and let us know your thoughts on that, because that's a concept a lot of people aren't familiar with.
Yes,
so we'd be happy to hear people's fresh feedback on that.
Yes, we love that. Okay.
Well, great. Thank you, everybody, for stopping in today and learning just a little bit more about potty training. Please remember to like and subscribe. We'll have future videos that'll kind of tie into this and build on it so that you can learn some other great concepts. So stay tuned, and we'll talk to you guys soon.
Thanks for joining us.
Thanks.
Have a great day.
Bye.